Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Cameron, and this is Sultai Lands. This league also comes with a shout out for Blue Moon Games in Lemoyne, PA, and the Adventurers Guild in Mechanicsburg, PA. Cameron is trying to launch and maintain a legacy scene in the central Pennsylvania area. If any of those towns are near you, check it out. As for the deck itself, this is wild. Wild take on lands, but I like it. We've got the crop rotation, exploration, life from the loam, Mox Diamond engine. There are 4 of all these cards. Magic Online's doing the display bug thing. There is not 1, there's 4 of these clutch cards. But the lands engine, there are also 29 actual lands in the deck. That's a lot of those. But instead of winning with Dark Depths and Urza's Saga, instead we get a bunch of cool cards. Some spice, one might say. Awaken the Honored Dead. For bug mana, it's a saga. Destroy target non-land permanent, mill 3 cards. Then you may discard a card. When you do, return target creature or land from your graveyard to your hand. Or removal and then card selection in a dedicated self-mill deck. Destroying target non-land permanent is a pretty cool effect as well. Let me get this actually on the screen for you. There we go. Destroy target non-land permanent. This could get a rest in peace if your opponent casts Show and Tell, which is a card that is a problem for lands sometimes. The thing they put in just dies. It's a nice catch-all. And then for winning the game, we've got Uro, Quantum Riddler, and Ice Till Explorer. Ice Till lets you go completely nuts, wastelanding and ghost quartering your opponent until they have no resources left, and eventually you'll mill over Uro as a way to actually win. Quantum Riddler, interesting choice here. If we're loaming, we probably won't have an empty hand, but reloading on cards when you're not loaming is a weakness of this deck. We don't have a way to scam this in. Like Talon Gates of Madara is something that could work, but I looked at the list and it didn't really make sense to try to include it. We could just play Farad Square. If you're wastelanding your opponent, locking them out of the game, you'll get to 5 mana. You just gotta win somehow eventually. And there's a spice copy of Nether Void in here. 3 and a black, Enchant World. When a player casts a spell, counter it unless that player pays 3. Just mana leak all spells on an enchantment. One of these insane cards from Legends that is miserable to play with and against and probably shouldn't exist, and they would never make a card like this. But if neither player is allowed to resolve spells, if I just jam this on turn 2 or 3 with some help from Malevolent Rumble or Exploration, I'm probably favored in a situation where I have 29 lands in my deck and my opponent probably has way less than that. Spicy tech. We've also got Ipnu Rivulet. 1 in a blue, sack a desert, target player mills 4. This is quite good against all of those Doomsday decks that are out there right now. Milling a Doomsday player after they've put 5 cards in their deck. Pretty powerful. There's also a win condition versus slow control decks. You loam this back every turn, mill them for 4. They'll eventually run out of stuff to do. And in the sideboard, we have Force of Wills and Consignment Memories. Choosing to fight combo with counter spells rather than lock pieces, because we do have enough blue cards to just about support this. Fun take on a classic archetype. Let's do it. I'm on the draw in round 1 with kind of the Nutland engine here. I hope I get turns to play this game, but Exploration and Mox Diamond are both ramp. Life from the Loam picks up the cards you discard to Mox Diamond, and then also keeps action going. This is a beautiful hand if the matchup is about anything fair. My mana does not currently cast the things that I have. Oh, wow. Thundering Falls, Milling, Sulfur Vents. What even is this? That's on a mull to 5. Clearly some sort of combo send deck, and Wasteland's got to be good. In Mox Diamond, I'm going to discard Mortuary. I'm going to cast Exploration, and then Hedge Maze turns on Shifting Woodland for next turn. Okay, yeah, there wasn't enough. Even if I had played a land instead of wasting them, there's not a sequence that lets me play Loam this turn. This has to be like the Cascade combo deck, which is great news for me because this is a deck that needs to get to 5 mana, and I'm hoping that they literally never have mana. Okay, yeah, just Wasteland Lock. That'll do. Okay, Consign to Memory and Force of Will. are probably good here. Rise of Sozin is for show and tell decks. This is just, I, it's unlikely we're going to cast this. I guess in a super grindy matchup, I technically have black mana, but counter spells are what I'm looking for here. Nether Void, actually hilarious versus this deck. Okay, Bajuka Bog, not important. Tabernacle, not important. Glacial Chasm could be important. I'll put that in the maybe pile. Everything that destroys lands is important. That's Beseju, that's Ghost Quarter, that's the Wastelands, obviously. Awaken the Honored Dead. This one's tricky because there's not going to be non-land permanents to destroy, but I also need blue cards to support Force of Will. Maybe I don't need to support Force of Will. Consign to Memory is much better. Versus this deck, they're a Cascade combo deck. Yeah, maybe I just bring in these. What is my actual blue count here? 13. With the forces in, I can make it 17. There were 2 dazes in the sideboard when I received the deck, but I cut those because I don't believe in any universe where daze will be useful. We're a slow, grindy control deck with 2 islands. 3 islands? Yeah, there's 3 actual islands in this deck. I don't believe in daze at all, but I did technically reduce the blue count of the deck. Ensnaring Bridge could be useful. I mean, this is an attacking deck. They try to cascade through their whole deck and then bash you with a bunch of stuff. I think I like Ensnaring Bridge more than I like Glacial Chasm. And Emrakul is part of their top end. I'd really like these forces in here. How does this happen? I want the crop rotations to find the wastelands. Maybe Malevolent Rumbles can come out for forces. Yeah, wasting them out is still plan A. An Assassin's Trophy is also just sinkhole in this matchup. Okay, I'm going to stop because I think I just have to stop at some point, or else I'm going to overboard and not actually be able to play the game. Okay, this is access to Wasteland. I don't have the loam to keep going. It's a turn 2 Awaken the Honored Dead. Destroy target non-land permanent is not optional. This could always destroy itself, but that doesn't mean anything to me. The opponent's on a Malta 6. Basic Island, all right. Got some schmoves. Oh, okay, Wasteland. I like seeing that. Exploration. Do I want to play Caracas? I could play Ipnu. I'm going to play Ipnu and then discard Caracas. I want green because that's access to crop rotation. We'll see how many basics they could play or what they can make happen on the basics they do have. Oh, is this a show and tell pivot? Oh my god. We're going to awaken the Honored Dead all over their smelly face. I will destroy Itali. You get to cast a spell off both decks. That might still kill me. Is there a land in my deck that stops spells from happening? I don't think so. Just kind of have to hope they whiff here, I guess. All right, Itali, what do you got? Leyline of the Void and Consign to Memory. A whiff. A whiff. I guess it's not a whole whiff because Leyline does matter a little bit here. Yeah, the mill 3 cards is just going to go to exile. I can't decline this. Milled Ghost Quarter. And milling the Ghost Quarter stinks. Do I want Caracas back at any point? I don't think so. Waste this Ancient Tomb. Play Misty Rainforest. I've got a Beseju in the deck, and I've got some other Awakened Deads that could blow up a Leyline and get my engine going. Dwarven Ruins. I'll fetch Surveil. Underground Mortuary. Ox Diamond, no thanks. Would I like to discard Misty Rainforest to get back Caracas? No. No, I would not. I do have another Surveil land I can search for here. I might just lose right now, though. They're back at 5 mana, which is the important number. All right, Throes of Chaos is going to hit Tybalt's Trickery. Oh, Show and Tell. All right, well, that resolves. Emrakul. They were smart to wait that I didn't pick Caracas back up. And I could still find life from the loam right now and do something here. Exploration's not it. Big money. Echoing Deeps can be Caracas, but enters tapped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is there a land that helps? I don't have Delirium. I can't get Shifting Woodland and copy Caracas. I guess I'm technically playing 2 and out here. I have to sacrifice all my permanents, except for the Caracas, then bounce Emrakul next turn and hope nothing ever happens again. Show and Tell is a cool pivot for this deck to have access to. Well, I guess I should bring in Firelord Sozin, or whatever that thing's called. The Rise of Sozin. And I definitely want my last Force of Will in if this is a thing they can do. All right, GG. Bouncing that annihilates the Caracas, and then we're dead. Okay, I actually had tools to play through that, but usually there's like one Emrakul in this deck, and it's trying to go, I guess, the top end of the chain. And Snaring Bridge does look pretty decent. Do I cut a bunch of Mox Diamonds here? Or a bunch of Explorations? How much do I slow down to meet them where they are versus try to just execute my plan? I need Awaken the Undead because it's blue, and we now know they're a show and tell pivot as well. I might not actually want the Assassin's Trophies. I've seen a basic land out of them now. It gives me 2 diamonds and my explorations back. Force of Vigor is an answer to Leyland of the Void. So is Assassin's Trophy, though, and I like that better overall. I gotta believe in the Rise of Sozin. If we have this show and tell tech, I gotta do it. Maybe I'll shave in 1 exploration for a trophy. I don't know how many lands I can actually afford to cut. And I have cut some diamonds. I could cut a shifting woodland for another trophy. I think I'm gonna stop here though. Just don't wanna cook myself too hard. I get to go first. 1 land, but holy moly, these cards that I have. I'm gonna keep. I've got Force blue card, Force blue card. I could put in Honor Dead off of a show and tell. I'm gonna fetch Hedge Maze here. Looking for lands, crop rotation. I don't think I'm trying to rotate for Wasteland, not yet. I just want to actually draw mana. Oh man. Well, that is mana. It's one of the cards that I would have liked to just have access to on the regular. If my opponent plays a show and tell, I'm going to put in Awaken the Undead and use Consign to stop whatever the thing is that they do, rather than force the show and tell. I could also put in Nether Void and just make this game very, very stupid. They probably did not bet that I'm playing 4x Awaken the Undead. That's a lot of that card. Omniscience. Cool. Iced it. And the mill actually works now. Keep drawing lands. Life is good. Milled an Uro. That's just like drawing a card. And next turn, I will definitely discard a card to return that Bayou to my hand, and then I'll cast Nether Void. Ensnaring Bridge. This is another cool thing to put in off show and tell. You may discard a card when you do return target creature or land to your hand. Will they ever cast a spell? All right, I'm going to discard the Ensnaring Bridge. And I'll get back Bayou. And I'll be a huge asshole right now. And it's probably actually better for me to just play Uro. But this is so sick. They might just literally not be able to play the game ever from this spot. And I might not either. But I'm willing to roll those dice. Okay, all spells get mana leaked. They would need some sort of uncounterable spell or a steady dose of mana for a long time here. And once I untap, they have to go heavy into the Nether Void, and then I could just pay 3 to force. The Rizzler. Okay. My next land play warps Quantum Riddler. I can also, or no, I can't consign. Hold on. So I could warp Riddler and then replicate consign to counter the Nether Void trigger. That doesn't sound very good. A crop rotation. I don't have an Ancient Tomb. All right, yeah, that doesn't get me ahead. It is fun though. Oh, am I getting Ottawara'd? Disappointing. All right, well, we had our fun, and now I'm just going to have to force of will my way through this and then win with Wasteland plus Icehill Explorer, I guess. Okay, creative technique. I'm going to force the base technique, pitching Quantum Riddler. Demonstrate. Me and my opponent both get one of these. I think I just want to make that not happen, though. Cast with Replicate. Replicate 1 is fine. And I'm going to rotate for Wasteland in the end step. Or no, I should play Ice Till and then see what happens. Okay, yeah, there's a land in my graveyard. Shifting Woodland. This opponent is not going to daze me. I don't think that's ever in the world of possibility. I could also just redeploy the freaking Nether Void. That's got to be good. I could even crop rotate and then play Nether Void, but I actually just want the mana. And Shifting Woodland can turn into Uro and start smashing. Okay, yeah, I got a plan. I got a plan. Everyone relax. How many Ottawars could they possibly play? And they could push Show and Tell through the Nether Void, but I could put in Ice Till Explorer and then start going nuts out of my graveyard. Even if they put in Omniscience, the Omniscience spells get countered unless you pay 3. Cascade is a triggered ability on top of spells, but you have to cast the thing you cascade into. Creative Technique casts the spell that you flip. And Creative Technique hitting Emrakul straight up would beat the uncounterable. All right, Show and Tell. Paying the Troll Toll. I'll put in Ice Till, and we'll see what happens off this Show and Tell. Ice Till Explorer, Itali. Yeah, Itali casts the spells. Please don't exile. All right. Throes of Chaos doesn't matter. And, oh, Consign to Memory. Wow. Oh, you have to cast the spells immediately. It's not until end of turn. That's good. Because if it was until end of turn, they could Throes of Chaos, Consign to Memory for free. But no, you have to kind of... Man, Nether Void is oppressive. I keep thinking I've figured out what the card does, but I keep being wrong. Okay, Misty Rainforest. I'm going to play that one. Milled Exploration. Fetch. I'll get Underground Mortuary. I think that's fine. Underground Mortuary. Mill first, then Surveil. All right, I hit the card I was looking for, and I get to put Loam directly in my graveyard. Play Caracas from the bin. This is extra frustrating for my opponent, who may or may not realize that, or of course they don't know that I have crop rotation, but I did. All right, so I'll play this Exploration, which buys me a bonus land drop, and I get Misty Rainforest. And now we're pushing damage. Let's go. Their hand is a Tali. Saprazin's scary, but I'm not scared at all. Flavor Fail. Underground Sea. Milled Wasteland, that should do it. I am not going to Dredge Loam. I'm so rolled up here. Wasteland. Take out Tomb. Wasteland. I get to do this 3 times per turn. Take out Scary. We got the GGs. We got a Nether Void is rough in the chat. Yes, what a ridiculous Magic card this is. They don't make them like this anymore, and for good reason. Very cool build of this Creative Technique deck, though. And we are out of there. Undefeated with this deck so far, and many of the weird tech, the Awaken the Undead hero, Nether Void hero, counterspells out of the sideboard hero. We're doing it. On to the next one. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 2 with a double ramp, double wasteland hand, but doesn't do much. I'm going to try this. I mean, I wish one of the Mox Diamonds was Life from the Loam, but 2 wastelands, the Mortuary is selection, Llanowar Elves. I don't know what's happening. Crop rotation. All right. Well, what does that do? That gets Tabernacle. I'm going to play Underground Mortuary. Get a look at what's going on here. Basic Island to the graveyard. Mox Diamond, discard Bajuka Bog. I don't think I'm going to need that one. And we'll see what happens right now. Quarian Ranger. Yeah, proper elves is what's going on right now. The Seiju, famously not a forest. We're going to see the Gaia's Cradle. Yep, there it is. Zenith for 2. I'm going to float a green, just in case this is Collector Roof. Badgermole Cub. That's pretty annoying, actually. I guess I could have crop rotated for Wasteland in response, but I need this to be Tabernacle. All right, I'll get Tabernacle. And unfortunately, the Cradle just gets to survive one way or another. All right, I'm going to pass. And they just tap Cradle in the upkeep either way here. I could at least make Cradle be a creature when they have to pay for it. And there's no forest in play, so the Quarian Rangers, if they want to untap Cradle, I think me wasting it in response to them bouncing their forest is the way to do it. Wasting the cradle twice is pretty effective, and it's what I'm going to have to do. Presuming I survive this turn, of course. They've got 3 mana on the board right now that I could see. I really don't want to waste the cradle until my own turn. Like, I don't want them to be able to Badger and Mole Cub it again. Zenith for 1. Is this going to be freaking Sylvan Safekeeper? I'm going to waste the cradle now. If they go land Badger Mole and reanimate this thing, I'm going to be pretty bummed out. But if they get Sylvan Safekeeper and I can't waste it, that's worse. Wirewood Symbiote. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, that does untap Llanowar Elves. Did I get punished? Formidable Speaker. Okay, they still have their land drop, but they're out of mana to spend. This is multiple things that untap Gaia's Cradle. And grabbed another cub. Okay, hopefully I get one big smush with the Tabernacle at least. But Cub letting Llanowar Elves tap for 2 is pretty brutal. Another Wasteland. I don't know if that matters. Yeah, so they can tap Llanowar for 2, bounce Quirion Ranger, tap Elf for 2 more, and then keep all their stuff. Okay, they bounce the Formidable Speaker, which is also mana positive for Llanowar Elves. You float 2, you spend 1 to untap. There's 3. Yeah, so you can bounce Quirion Ranger, keep the other 3 permanents, and Llanowar Elves is untapped when you get to your main phase. Yep, okay. These things are happening. I'm being annoying, but I'm not stopping them. Not even a little bit. Still pretty operational, and you can play another Badger Mole Cub here. Then Llanowar Elves taps for 3 in the future. If they ever find a forest to go with that Quirion Ranger, you just do all sorts of crazy bounce tricks. Cub, that means my Wasteland's bad again. But that does mean they have to pay for Boseiju now, but it also taps for 3. All right, I think they'll be okay. Okay, I need another action spell. Shifting Woodland. It's a long way off from being useful. I guess I'll play Wasteland. Just in case. I tap those 2 creatures to keep all 5 creatures. And Badger Mole Cub versus Tabernacle. This is the first time I've seen these 2 cards interact with each other, and it's not going the way my side wants it to. A forest, bad news. That unlocks Quirion Ranger. Now they can go all kinds of crazy. And we know there's a Formidable Speaker still in hand. 6 mana available right now. 5. Natural Order. All right, well, hoof, there it is. GG. That was brutal. Yeah, that Badger Mole Cub making my first Wasteland bad, also making the Tabernacle not good enough. That was very cool. Rise of Sozin. I should probably bring this in. Destroy all creatures seems like words I'm interested in. Blast Zone's a good one, but Juka Bog doesn't matter. Glacial Chasm's a nice one. Karakas probably doesn't matter. I could try to Force of Will this deck. I feel like Prisoning them out is better, though. I don't know if their deck actually has Glimpse of Nature in it to bring in Chains against. I'm going to say no. Can I get any Assassin's Trophies in and do what I want them in? And blowing up a Cradle, or really anything in response to it being Earthbent, means it's gone before the bending matters. I think I'm just going to bring in these 2 cards and trust in my lands engine. I really hope I get to hardcast Rise of Sozin. I'll keep this. It's slow, but I like Malevolent Rumble. I have the Loam already. It's a turn 3 Nether Void. But my opponent is a deck that make lots of mana. That might not be good enough. Quantum Rizzler. That's a later problem. I gotta interact with early stuff before that happens. Zenith for Dryad Arbor. Ooh, Awakening the Honored Dead. Could happen in my near future. I'm gonna Rumble. Wasteland, Boseiju, Honored Dead. I probably want Wasteland from among these options. All right, I'll take Wasteland. There is the issue with jamming turn 3 Nether Void, which is if my opponent just has like Dryad Arbor and Llanowar Elves in play, that's a 10-turn clock, and 10 turns might not be enough to get out from under Void. Or I could Wasteland Dryad Arbor. It depends on what happens this turn. Eladamri Corvectol. Look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Tap to untap creatures you control. Reveal a card from your hand or top of your library. If it's a creature, put it in the battlefield. Holy moly. All right, I think I'm just going to awaken the Honored Dead on Eladamri. It seems like a reasonable place to start this adventure. Look at all these awakens. Putting 4 copies of a card in your deck makes it so easy to draw. That's the advanced deck building theory you get on this channel. Dang. Yeah, the problem with Eladamri is if my opponent has a second Dryad Arbor in their deck, they could just start show and telling creatures into play like crazy, even through my Nether Void. Llanowar Elves, 1/1. Wirewood Symbiote, 1/1. Gaia's Cradle, lots of mana. Yeah, I'm just getting natural ordered. All right. We Caracasing here? Or not Caracas, Atraxa. Yes, Atraxa is the answer. Here's a bunch of mess. I have another Awaken the Honored Dead to kill Atraxa with. And then I can waste Gaia's Cradle. And we play on. They took Cradle, Endurance, Force of Vigor, Zenith. Okay, wasting Cradle just got a bit worse. I draw a card, then I mill 3, which fuels the Endurance, unfortunately. Glacial Chasm is not bad. It is quite a bit worse into Endurance, because looping it becomes a lot harder. But it's not bad. Okay, I'll Awaken the Honored Dead again. Is Atraxa an honorable dead? I don't think so. And there's not... Okay, can I get hoofed here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A Gaia's Cradle in hand, knowing there's another one, on one hand creates a legendary bottleneck where they can't use that second Cradle, but they can also Dark Ritual it out, like just float, play the other one, and they could get a big burst of mana in a way I'm not happy with. It's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Could hoof here, I guess. Zenith for 3. Okay, that happens. Formidable Speaker. Doing stuff. Stuff's happening. Discarding Dryad Arbor. There was a second Dryad Arbor, so I would have lost on the spot if I had jammed Nether Void on the turn where they had Eladamri. Allosaurus Shepherd. Wow, playing around the Nether Void? That's broken. Okay, against a face-up Allosaurus Shepherd, I should probably board out this Nether Void. This is not going to work. A Symbiote attacking. No block. I'm going to wait for my Honored Deads to trigger. And I'm going to trigger the mill 3 second. Waste Cradle. I'll give them right now the option to Endurance me before I pick this Wasteland back up. And then I get to mill 3 after the fact. And Crop Rotation's sick because that is Tabernacle. And I'm definitely discarding this Nether Void. Which is in its own way a shame because Loam and Uro, discarding those to draw a card is what life is about. But with Allosaurus Shepherd in play, I'll get back Wasteland. Gotta be ready for the next Gaia's Cradle. Then I mill 3 cards. They were Diamond Hands on the Endurance. 1, 2, 3, 4. I kind of want to keep all these things that are in my hand. Making the Endurance too tasty isn't where I want to be. I could Loam Van Uro. If I Loam, I'm getting Beseju, C, Fetch. Oh, I don't want to Loam and Uro. That puts all my stuff in the graveyard for that Endurance. Not where I want to be. I could Wasteland Bayou and then Loam and be ready to Crop Rotation. But then I'm off the Wasteland for the Cradle. Yeah, there's a lot going on here to keep track of. Okay, I'm going to play Wasteland, and I'm going to Crop Rotation for Tabernacle. Okay, the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale is in play, and then I'll pass the turn. Do I want a Loam now? That gives me a lot of fuel for the discard to Awaken next turn. Okay, I am going to Loam. I have to pressure them somehow to use the Endurance. They can't just hold that up forever. Underground Sea, Beseju, and Edge Maze back, leaving the Wasteland up. Like if they want to Endurance now, it's going to cost them 2 cards, and I get to keep my Loam and my Uro. But if I let them untap too many times, they just get it incidentally. and they get to keep the body. There's a lot wrong with that. Okay, endurance, pitching, force of vigor. We got him, team. Did enough to force the action on that. Okay, pass the turn. 2 cards left in hand. 4 mana to pay for 5 creatures here. Could bounce one of the creatures. We'll probably see Formidable Speaker get bounced. Yep, bounce Formidable Speaker. Now you got to spend all your mana to keep all these things. Still have Llanowar Elves available for 1 mana. And of course, the Gaia's Cradle from hand is there. Symbiote's been used already. Shepherd can make 2 things, 5/5s. No, don't even have enough mana for that. Okay. Clear of that issue for now. Quarian Ranger. Cradle's good for 5. We're going Formidable Speaker. 1 card left in the hand right now. Discarding Force of Vigor. What is the final gasp here? Badgermole Cub. That resolves. I'm going to target the Cradle with Wasteland in response to them trying to creature it up. Okay, yeah, you can have a forest. And that is the way to not get blown out, but I also don't really care about that. I'm very close to just sitting behind this Glacial Chasm for the rest of time. Sack for 2, you got me. Sacrifice this unless I pay 1. And paying 1 is the same as sacrificing it. Okay, it's gone. I'll sack it to pay for itself. Yes. Ha! That rules. Okay, I will Dredge Loam. And now there's a Quantum Riddler in my graveyard. It's an exciting card. I could discard Chasm, pick up Riddler, waste them, play Chasm. All right, discard Chasm, get back Riddler. I can loam back all the lands anyway. Waste the Cradle. Opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana to pay for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 creatures. I'll loam back all the stuff. Wasteland, Chasm, Wasteland. I think this is a development turn where I just play out the Chasm, sacking Bayou, and then I pay 2 life for a few turns. Uro will grind me back in the meantime. All right, Chasm, sack Bayou, and pass. Okay, setting up for a little bit here while my opponent has to figure out how to keep their creatures. After a couple turns of Tabernacle, I'll have a better viewpoint of the battlefield as well. They did an end step bounce of the Formidable Speaker. And I'm just going to F6 and let them figure this out. They've successfully thrown their cards around in a way that kept these creatures in play. If they draw Boseiju ever, I'm basically dead. We know they're in the deck. There's probably maybe even 3 of them. But we also know that they did not have one. If they come up with one, it was off the top. Their hand right now is Shepherd and Formidable Speaker and whatever they drew this turn. Glacial Chasm, for those who don't know. Creatures I control can't attack and prevent all damage that would be dealt to me. Zenith is a pretty good rip. Badgermole Cub here means their mana dorks go nuts. Okay, and Wasteland's less effective. My game plan here is to get a Glacial Chasm lock in place, and that means having Uro in play or finding an Exploration. Formidable Speaker, we're going to discard the Shepherd, find another Symbiote. All right. Very cool build of elves over here. Like, this is not Cradle Control. This is more akin to traditional elves, but I also don't see Glimpse of Nature in here, and the Badgermole Cub stuff is really sweet. 2 cool decks so far from our opponents in this league. I will pay 2 life to keep Glacial Chasm. I will Dredge Loam. Wasteland, Loam, target Otawara, Bayou, Ghost Quarter. I'm working my way towards Uro. That's the plan. Oh, wow, they're just conceding. This might be because they have 6 minutes on their clock and figure they have a better chance winning game 1 from scratch than trying to figure this out. Okay, cool. I'll take it however it comes. Okay, Caracas. We did see Atraxa and Eladamri in this deck. Suddenly more interested in this than I thought I was. Nethervoid's going to come out. Caracas is going to come back in. And how do I get some trophies in here? Rise of Sozin, I still believe in you. Crop rotation is excellent. Mox Diamond I can probably shave on a little bit. It's a card I want exactly one of in a game, and the second one is kind of bad unless I have Loam to go with it. But we've seen Collector Oof in my opponent's deck as well, and Endurance, which if I go like double Diamond, cast Loam, and then opponent Endurances me, that's not ideal. Rumble's good. Bridge. My hand's actually gonna be that empty? Maybe I could chase some Riddlers. And Riddler has the same problem as Ensnaring Bridge, which is my hand probably won't be that empty. But Ensnaring Bridge, at least if my hand is empty, I can't lose the game compared to if my hand's empty with Quantum Riddler, I draw a card. All right, I got 2 trophies in there. It's better than we were. Let's go. The Rise of Sozin. Oh my god. And I have the Down and Dirty Tabernacle. I am going to keep. I do need some help from this Malevolent Rumble eventually. Okay, if I just play Tabernacle right now, that taps the Dryad Arbor to itself forever. I don't think that's how I want to play. Play from the Loam, a nice find. Yeah, the problem with playing Tabernacle is it sets my opponent back the Dryad Arbor, but it doesn't do anything to advance my plan. I think I'm going to go Misty for Black Surveil Land. Second Dryad Arbor. Badgermole Cub. This does give this haste. It's a 1/1 with haste. Yeah, this is a funny interaction that I've seen a couple times before. Dryad Arbor is a 1/1, so you might think it becomes 2/2 if Badgermole Cub Earthbends it, but part of Earthbend is target land becomes a 0/0. Mox Diamond. I think I do want that. I'd have to discard the Tabernacle, but Tabernacle is currently not actually helping. All right, yeah, keep that. A little bit of ramp. Never hurt anyone. A Trop, Diamond, discard Tabernacle. I'll awaken the Honored Dead on the Cub. Force of Vigor is pretty good against me here. I gave them 2 targets, but it would set them back some resources. Speaker. I hope this is a emergency tutor for Endurance. Symbiote. Okay, this is still somebody who's moving forward with their own plan. Not someone who's panicking about the Tabernacle in my graveyard. A Symbiote can bounce Speaker, untap Dryad Arbor, play another card. Okay, they're going to need some graveyard hate here or the Tabernacle will become a problem for them. Brutal. Okay. Well, I don't get to mill 3, but they're now Hellbent. And I'm going to play Life from the Loam. Wow, that was one of the best draws I could hit. Loam, Misty, Fetch a Forest. I believe there is at least 1 untapped forest still in my deck. There are 2. All right, I'll take the Bayou. I don't think my opponent's going to do anything to punish non-basic lands. Explore, tab, go. Firelord Sozin, I'm calling on you soon. Get ready, big guy. And this is not what I'm trying to do, but it is really annoying to navigate this many triggers and stacking this many activated abilities on top of all those triggers on MTGO, and my opponent has 3.5 minutes on their clock. Like, that's just incidental to the plan that is actually what I'm trying to do. We got I'm a timeout in the chat. Yeah, you are running out of time. I noticed that too. Yeah, it looks like they don't want to try to navigate this with the 2.5 minutes on their clock. That's reasonable. It's a shame because Firelord Sozin was going to be part of this game. Dredge Loam, Cast Loam, build out 2 lands, maybe even next turn. Like, build out 2 lands, Malevolent Rumble makes a spawn, though the spawn gets washed out by Tabernacle, so that's not actually +1 mana. I believe I was going to cast Rise of Sozin to win this game, if we had enough time to actually finish it. I'll take that. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play in round 3. No lands in my hand. There's 29 of them in my deck. No problem. That's fine. Mulligan. I think this is worth a keep. And I'm going to bottom Ghost Quarter. Tabernacles a big swing. Like that card might be great or it might be zero. But I kept it in my hand specifically because the Fantastic car is still legal. And if I take 16, I would like to kill those cars. Though I guess my opponent would have to have 0 mana in play for that to even matter. Because they could just pay for 1 card and do the last 4. Alright, I did not consider that all the way. Oh, but if I Wasteland, if I have tabless Wasteland, that's a thing. Alright. Maybe I'm secretly a genius and knew exactly what I was doing. Rumble, I'll take Exploration here, because Loam is in my grip already. And try to get set up. Pass the turn, hope I'm not dead. I've got it. Oh no, I was about to say I got a blocker, but the cars fly. And I think if my opponent was setting up a Fantastic card, they would not have played out Lotus Petal on 1. This is starting to feel like show and tell, actually. Should I show him the Quantum Riddler? I guess I have to. Alright, Quantum Riddler goes in. Omniscience. I'm pretty dead. Surprise, dweeb. Here's this card you have to think about. Surveil 2, draw a card. Emrakul. That'll do. Alright. Show and tell again. And me without any of my honored deads in my hand. The Force of Will is definitely coming in. Rise of Sozin. I mean, this is good if they just put a creature in straight up. It does not beat Omniscience. Ensnaring Bridge, Force of Will. The consigns are awkward because I need them to get my blue count responsible, but they're not actually good versus Sneak and Show. Whereas the Mississippi River Show and Tell variant we played against earlier, the card was just good on its own. The Jukabog, Tabernacle are going out. I think I can do a little less diamond. Awaken the Honored Dead is my secret hammer here. Do I bring in forces with only 12? Or no, I have Uros, only 14 blue cards. Yeah, I just don't think Consigned Memory is good. Crop Rotation could get Caracas in a clutch moment. That's all it really does. And it's weak to counter spells, which we are almost certainly playing against. Okay, this is what I'm doing. I could bring in Force of Vigors and Assassin's Trophies to try to beat a Resolved Omniscience, but I'm trying to awaken the Honored Dead to deal with that. I don't think I can keep this hand. Mulligan. Interesting. The Nether Void is here. I think I will keep this. And bottom Blast Zone's probably worse than Deeps. Though it might be pretty close. Alright, I'll bottom Deeps. Blast Zone at least comes into play untapped. I also don't like that grammatically Deeps is on a card and Depths is on many other cards. I assume there's a reason to say Deeps versus Depths, but I don't know what that reason is. And it bums me out. Maybe I should just Google it. My plan is to fetch my Hedge Maze here and at least get Loam going. I have Uro that's a blue card if I find a force. Putting a Nether Void could beat an Omniscience, but it doesn't beat Emrakul following up Omniscience, or Emrakul coming straight out of the Show and Tell. Doesn't beat that either. Opponent's got the Scalding Tarn, Island Ponder, handsome, powerful start with the excellent Mirage Palm Tree Island. This is one of the islands I own 20 plus copies of. It was my island that I played with for a while before I got betas. I'm sure these are still in my collection. I have a long box of pre-modern basics. I've just been playing Magic through the entire pre-modern era, and I recently sorted out my basics into what type of worlds they came from. Okay, this can actually play. The question is, do I want it? I think I do. This lets me cast Nether Void next turn. Mox Diamond. Discard Blast Zone. Play Shifting Woodland. Life from the Loam. It would need Force of Negation to really mess this up. Disappointing. Oh no. Okay. Well, Force of Negation exiling Brainstorm. I hope that Brainstorm was important to you. And if I draw any land and get Nether Void on the stack, we're moving. Yeah, tap land. I hope that's good for me. Kept the card on top. Alright, an untapped land. Cast Nether Void. Oh my god, the full punish. This still doesn't do what I wanted, because I wanted to cast Nether Void this turn, but I'm sure my opponent is disappointed to see me play that card. Cycling Lorien, this guarantees the third land, which can cast Show and Tell. I just have to really hope they're on an Omniscience line, and that Emrakul's not already in the hand. Alright, here we go. Please put Omniscience in. Nether Void. Oh! Don't have Emrakul, don't have Emrakul, don't have Emrakul. Okay, they're passing the turn. This is a window to find Boseiju or something that breaks this up. Get my other Surveil land. Awaken the Honored Dead. I don't want that, and I'm going to be dredging Loam this turn, so I guess we just bin. Mill 3 cards. Play Blast Zone. I can cast Life from the Loam. Or I could attack with Quantum Riddler. How do I think I'm going to win this game? I can turn Shifting Woodland into Quantum Riddler and just attack for 4. That's interesting. All right, I think I should Loam this turn, because that lets me Uro next turn, and then escape Uro the turn after. I know this is slow as hell, and my opponent does get a spell here. If they like spend 3 mana to get stock up through the Nether Void, then Emrakul's in their hand. That beats me. Yep, there it is, exactly. All right, don't find Emrakul. My hope here is that this is one of these super light Omniscience decks that has like 1 Emrakul in it, and not a dedicated Show and Tell deck that has 4. Ancient Tomb, my opponent's moving in the direction of having multiple activations. I'm going to keep dredging because I'm trying really hard to find Wasteland. I found Boseiju. I'm a mana short of using it, unfortunately. But that is the dub for next turn. Okay, I do not control a legendary creature. Pass the turn. They got to figure it out right now. But they might have 2 big swings at it. 3 mana Ponder. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. They shuffled. Another Ancient Tomb. At least they're taking damage when they cast these spells. Oh, that's bad. Oh no. This is a workaround. This could be a Traxa. If it was Emrakul, it would have just happened already. So I think this is just nothing, is my bet. Yeah, okay. The nothing bet plays. Do I want Loam in my hand? I have to deal with multiple issues right now. If I dredge Loam, it costs 2 to channel Boseiju, and then I can cast it for 5. I am going to dredge Loam. Channel Boseiju, take out the Omniscience. Opponents, if they have a second Surveil land, they're going to get it here. Didn't have a second Surveil land. Tropical Island, Life from the Loam, targeting Boseiju, Misty, and Woodland. Opponent's clearly struggling, and I just have to hope they continue struggling for at least 1 more turn. There's a lot of mana with which to cast spells, but their spells also cast their real mana cost now. Like, this stock up costs the 3 to cast it, then the 3 to tap it, or 3 to do the other thing. Plenty of mana, though. And if you find a Traxa, that'll be good enough to probably also find Emrakul. Emrakul doesn't necessarily kill me by itself. Alright, Atraxa found Emrakul. You did it. GG. That was fun. Was in it for a lot longer than I had really any right to be. Yeah, if I had awakened the Honored Dead instead of Nether Void, I think I'm cooking there, but the Nether Void was fun while it lasted. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is sponsored by Ultimate Guard. I travel all over the world playing Magic with very expensive cards. I trust Ultimate Guard products to protect the tools of my trade wherever I go. Whether you like magic art, licensed art from other worlds, entirely original art, or the simplicity of plain colors, their products have incredible range to match anyone's style. Protect your cards how I do, stay up to date with all the new releases at ultimateguard.com, and stop by the Ultimate Guard section of your local game store. I'm on the draw in round 4 versus Eureka, who is one of the foremost Doomsday players out there. My hand doesn't play. I will mulligan it. Just doesn't do anything. This one works, and this is potentially bonkers. I'm keeping, and I think I'm bottoming Bayou here and trying to go for the full double diamond experience. Scalding Tarn pass. Okay, I've drawn Otawara. That's kind of fun. That lets me play around days. I'll play Wasteland, Diamond, discard Otawara, Diamond, discard Boseiju, loam back my 2 Kamigawa lands. I don't think Doomsday usually has Force of Negation in the main. They pass. If my opponent fetches a Surveil land, that's because he's got enough mana to do what he needs to do without it. Or without it, yeah, without that land. Kept the fetch up. This fetch doesn't get basic swamp and the basic island's already in play. I think this is going to have to get a duel. I just have to hope I'm still alive when that happens. A Dark Ritual or Doomsday. Okay. So it's not Carr. Not with this sequencing. Dark Ritual Carr could have killed me. All right, Dark Ritual Doomsday is going to happen. And he used Bauble to look at the top card of my deck to know that I'm not drawing a card that beats this. The Ice-Tail Explorer is the only card he doesn't know about right now. And unfortunately, Ipnu Rivulet is not in my hand. That's my Doomsday tech. If I draw Crop Rotation, I can Ipnu. 49 cards exiled. Are there cars in this deck or not? There are 1, 2, 3 cars visible. Cycling Street Wraith. Am I dead right now? Yeah. All right. I guess so. Yep. Making the Simply Kill You pile. Maybe I was supposed to Wasteland in response to Street Wraith. But you can sacrifice basic Island Edge of Autumn too. Yeah, that works. I had nearly the best start my deck's capable of. We just queued into an equally excellent start from a faster combo deck who is also on the play. All right, Forces and Consigns are coming in. Do I want Chains? I might. I can make their development pretty miserable. Nether Void's great. I hate how many times I've said that in this league. The last thing I ever want to do is spike the price of Nether Void. Force of Vigor addresses Carr, but not really anything else. Ensnaring Bridge, kind of a similar boat. Tabernacle could be an out to Carr. Might want to leave that in. Glacial Chasm's going to be too slow to beat Carr. I don't think I can get the engine running fast enough where I can play Glacial Chasm every turn from 4 life and stabilize. Diamonds, Explorations. It still is one of my win cons, I guess. But it is kind of an extra thing here where everything else has a job to do. I've still got Riddlers and Arrows. I like Crop Rotation. Blast Zone unfortunately enters with 1 counter. You can't blow up tokens with it. Maybe some Rumbles go. I hate losing Rumble because it's just such a powerful card, but I do actually want all these cards in my deck right now. All right, the Surprise Force blue card out of lands. I'm going to hope that's just not played around. Misty Pass. Plan is to just get Hedge Maze here. Badlands, uh-oh. Red stuff. Oh, the Phoenix. Am I getting Phoenixed? Am I hooked on Phoenix? Force. We got the Spicy in the chat. Yeah, spicy, but I have a Force too. Whatever. Okay, am I just dead? My opponent knows I'm a Wasteland deck, so he's going to have to build a pile that doesn't need this land to win. 50 cards exiled. I don't see any Arclight Phoenixes, which I know is a thing that he has messed around with. Mishra's Bauble. I think I'm a mana short of winning with Ipnu Rivulet. So what I need to do here is surveil into Mox Diamond. Mox Diamond! Blast Zone not helping. They're bobbling me. Do you see Mox Diamond? Please tell me. Big draws. Oh my god. Oh my sweet merciful god. Okay, do we think his hand is Force blue card? Shifting Woodland enters untapped. I do control a forest. Just making sure I don't mess this up. Diamond. Discard Caracas. Crop Rotation. Ipnu Rivulet. How about target player mills 4 cards? What do we think about that? What do we think about that? Blue lands. Hell yeah. Okay. That was a miracle. Okay. Maybe I should not be cutting Mox Diamonds because most of the things I'm going to need to do are going to have to happen fast. That might have just been bad strategy. Though I don't want to draw 2. I want to draw exactly 1. But I still think the thing I'm saying is true. We saw the cars were still in the deck. I might need Force of Vigor to stay competitive here. Nether Void's probably just going to be too slow. Though I do think it's dope. Chains, probably too slow as well. I'm getting rid of the cute stuff, and we're getting serious here. It's kind of just by process of elimination. It has to be Exploration or a land. Those are the only things left. And Caracas does very little, I suppose. Exploration is a green card for Force of Vigor, but I have a lot of those. Oh, did I just cut too many cards? What just happened? I cut Nether Void and Chains for 2 Force of Vigors, and now I suddenly have a 59 card deck. I cut 2 more cards. Oh, I had already switched them And now I have 61. What's happening? I've completely lost track of what cards are supposed to be in my deck right now. I don't think I want Assassin's Trophy. Maybe I bring the Bog back in. We saw that red, but no reason for red. And I know Eureka has been messing around with Arclight Phoenix Doomsday. Maybe I should give myself the crop rotation Bajuka Bog out here. Okay. Kind of weird, but I'm trying to cover my bases. He knows he's against a Force of Will deck now. He knows Ipnu Rivulet is dangerous. I've got Force Blue card. Let's play. We both kept 7. Cycling Wraith. A Swamp. Thoughtseize. Yeah, that's going to work. Taking the time now that you know what I'm up to over here. Even had basic Swamp. Wasteland's not going to play. All right, Mortuary. Find me some goods. Quantum Rizzler. I do not want that. The coast is clear. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Car. Bobble. Yep. Vroom Vroom. Thoughtseize too good. And with all this mana, even Tabernacle's not going to clear these cars. Even an extra Brainstorm for the Rubbins. I don't have a clear for this. I just needed to draw Force of Will, Force of Vigor, or Consign on that turn, and none of those things happened. Oh, you dirty dog, you dirty dog. All right. GG. On to the next round. I'm glad we took that middle game, though. That was awesome. All the tech kicked in. I'm excited to be a special guest for the Excalibur Events Niagara Falls weekend, September 25th through 27th, 2026. This event features the pre-modern scaling 25K with $10,000 guaranteed and $5,000 added to the prize pool at 275, 350, and 450 players for a total of $25,000. Gold Border and Collector's Edition cards are legal in this tournament, and you can use up to 10 playtest cards to fill out your deck. Be sure to check the FAQ on the Excalibur website to follow their playtest card policy. This has a chance of being the biggest pre-modern event ever. Sign up now and use code BOSH for $5 off entry. I hope I'll see you there. I'm on the draw in the final round. Positive record hangs in the balance. This hand does not have green mana and wouldn't be good anyway. Easy mulligan. Here we go. Keep this, and I think I'm going to get rid of Uro among these options. Awakening the Honored Dead seems like something that I might just want to do on a fair basis. And if we play, again, Show and Tell for the 3rd time in the league, Awakening the Honored Dead is pretty good. All right, well, a Planar Nexus deck, this would be a great time to find a Wasteland and just get the hooks in. And I have Crop Rotation, so that can be a Wasteland next turn. But unfortunately, it does take a turn to heat up because Bajuka Bog is not an untapped green source. Drop, Exploration, Bog U, and hope I don't die this turn. I can get some good stuff going next turn, especially if I draw a land. Double Planar Nexus, Rim Monolith, that makes things harder. Metalworker, oh, baby. Well, I'm glad that Skateboard didn't equip, at least. I got that going for me. Nether Void. That's not what I wanted. Okay. What do I do? I could cast Loam, get back Misty, fetch Misty, rotate Bog. Yeah, I guess that's the best I've got. What am I rotating into? I don't know if Grim Monolith matters anymore. Double Planar Nexus, I don't know if that matters anymore. Does anything matter? I don't want to be around anymore. All right, I guess like Caracas or an emergency Glacial Chasm. These are things that could happen. Grim Monolith into Metalworker. I am pretty stoked about, though there's a good chance it's about to kill me. We're about to see their hand. Metalworker shows me. I hope it's not something boring like the One Ring. God damn it, it is the One Ring. That's so boring. Do something cool. I mean, Lightsteel Colossus giving it haste is pretty cool. Ugin was the one card that I wasn't shown. All right. I guess that's fair. And this also plays the One Ring. Boring! I think this game would actually be awesome if the One Ring wasn't in their hand. Gain 3 life, draw a card. Okay, they didn't cast the One Ring when they had the option. Seems like a mistake, but I'm not in charge of you. And how do I answer Ugin anyway? Probably just fucking don't. And Ugin kills Nether Void. even if the spell that it casts doesn't work. Ugin is some horse shit, I gotta say. And I'm rotating for something. Is there anything that's actually good? Oh, I can kill Ugin with Awaken the Honored Dead. Do I just not rotate here? Is it possible that that's the real life? But then I'm just going to lose to the One Ring. That sucks so hard. Yeah, I guess I'll get Underground Mortuary. Drop rotation. Not what I'm looking for. I am not going to Dredge Loam. All right. I will destroy Ugin. And then slowly lose to the One Ring. And I wish I was just playing against Metalworkers, Blightsteel Colossus, that kind of stuff. It was so weird to plus Ugin last turn rather than resolve the ring. I guess trying to keep artifacts in your hand was what they were doing. They might have been just swinging for the fences of what's the best path to have 13 mana next turn to play and equip Blightsteel. And if it's like get 3 off Ugin, have One Ring still in your hand. Because drawing a card when you draw a card when you tap the One Ring also. 8 mana. Another Metalworker found, in addition to the cards we already knew. A Metalworker, they can give this thing haste and tap it for 6, so this does net mana. That makes 6, then there's 11 floating. Playing and equipping the other Metalworker is neutral. They get cost 4 to do that, then it taps for 4. So you might as well do it. Could just play Blightsteel right now. Or try to play and equip it next turn. I guess I just determined that this is neutral, or just lattice my ass. Great. Great. At least I will take this. I will take this. If my opponent had the opportunity to bury me at the one ring and just did something else instead, I am not going to complain. It's as if the One Ring wasn't even there. I'm just going to pretend that was Defense Grid in their hand. Just any artifact. It was a Darksteel Relic in their hand. Okay, Consigns Forces, Force of Vigors. They could have made that awful and chose to make it cool. Props opponent. Nether Void, Bajuka Bog, the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. Glacial Chasm might be necessary to survive a Blightsteel hit. And that's a bummer. I think I win that game on the play. I just have the Wasteland lock on turn 2. Magic's hard sometimes. A lot of combo in this format right now. A Mox Diamonds versus a known Karn strategy. I might want to back off of those a little bit. Echoing Deeps can come out. And it might just be Rumbles because I need cuts and it can't be blue cards. I could go 0 Mox Diamond and get some Rumbles back in. And Diamond's obviously great and sets up a lot of my best early turns, fixes my colors in this 3-color deck. Yeah, I did just board in a bunch of consigns. All right, I'll go no Rumble, 2 Diamond. I could even see the argument for Assassin's Trophy, but yeah, the sideboard map here, getting these Force of Wills in and maintaining your blue count is actually pretty tragic. Okay, I'm going to keep... I've got 2 Wastelands plus Loam. No acceleration, but I can Surveil, try to spike in Exploration. I guess there is the argument that should I just play Wasteland? Because then if they lead on a Pithing Needle effect, I can at least waste the land that cast it. But I have Ghost Quarter also, though I'm not necessarily even turned off by a Pithing Needle. Alright, I'm going to play the Misty Rainforest and fetch Hedge Maze. The opponent kept 7 after some long deliberation. Or they were peeing. It's hard to know on Magic Online, but they did sit there for a long time about it. Pithing Needle, fetch and response. Hedge Maze. Something good. Beseiju is not bad, but do I want it? I don't. Because Loam will pick that up by the time I'd be able to use it anyway, and I'd really like to find Exploration or Mox Diamond here after boarding out a bunch of Mox Diamonds. Oh, Naming Thespian Stage. Great. That's not even a card in my deck. Deal. Remember this one? Wasteland. All right, hopefully wasting them 3 turns in a row on the fair and square will at least stunt their development enough that I can find something else to do. Planar Nexus number 2. Force of Vigor. That does stuff, maybe. The second Wasteland. I could even crop rotate for a 4th Wasteland, if that's the vibe. Oh, new vibe. I could just Force of Vigor both of these permanents. The good news is I don't have to waste this. I guess that's the... Yeah, I don't have to do it now. I'll just take my turn. Blast Zone versus Ghost Quarter. I think I want the Ghost Quarter in play. Invested. Okay, Ghost Quarter, Life from the Loam. Target Wasteland, Wasteland, Boseiju. And then I'm going to Force of Vigor, pitching Crop Rod in the upkeep. Oh, I ended up with too many cards. Sad. I'll discard Blast Zone. And in the upkeep, Force of Vigor. I wish I had a better target than Pithing Needle, but also I'm happy to get that Loam turn developing. Now I can waste every turn. I just needed to go +1 mana somewhere, and I found it. Oh, they're out of lands. Let's go. Mill 3. Consign and Force of Will revealed. Disappointing. I'm gonna warp a Rizzler. Drew another Force of Vigor. Wasteland in. And clock's ticking. I've got a win condition here in the Warp Zone. Isn't the Warp Zone a laser tag company? Oh, geez, Ancient Tomb. That plays Grim Monolith. And they just get moving. With Lotus Petal's help, this could even be a 1-ring right off the... from nothing. Metalworker. Okay. That one I can kill. There's a known Boseiju in my hand. And I can't imagine this deck has very many basic lands in it, if there's any at all. Okay. Boseiju tapping Wasteland. This leaves up Ghost Quarter. All right, waste the Ancient Tomb. Okay, we play on. That could have been worse. And we're back. Still haven't needed to use the Loam. Ipnu. I have a win con. Life from the Loam, targeting Wasteland, Boseiju, and I think I want Misty Rainforest. Though Blast Zone can clear Pithing Needle. All right, Boseiju, Wasteland. A lot of my stuff could clear Pithing Needle. That doesn't really matter. I'm going to conspicuously leave up blue after they've seen the card Consigned to Memory in my deck. I've milled it over. All right, opponent did nothing. I'm going to cast Quantum Riddler this turn, and we'll be in business. Not Drudging Loam. I don't need all those cards right now. Okay, another Wasteland in play. Quantum Rizzler. Found Yavimaya, a card that I don't think I've looked at once in this entire league up to this point, but apparently is in my deck. Opponents at the discard phase of the game. Oh, found a tower. They were about to discard, then figured they lose the card anyway. I am not going to Drudge Loam. I am going to Wasteland. And I'll play out Bayou. Now I can cast Force of Vigor or Crop Rotation. If I played Yavimaya, I could have played both. Okay, the Wasteland lock deck wins the game on the play. Now I got to take one on the draw. Opponent has seen Force of Vigor and Force of Will and Consigned to Memory in my mix now. I hope those were all unpleasant surprises, but they did exist. Do I want to shave any number of crop rotations for any number of Assassin's Trophies? Crop rotation getting the first Wasteland. This almost doubles the number of Wastelands I have access to on turn 1. That turns any forest into Wasteland. Trophies an answer to Ugin or Karn, which are pretty messed up. Ice-Till Explorer, that's my guy. I'm not cutting that. Is there a land I won't need? In Glacial Chasm, I would only really want in to make sure I don't die to Blightsteel Colossus, and with more interaction in the deck, my opponent shouldn't have access to 13 mana to do that. So that's the wisdom here. Okay, here we go. Plus 2 more removal spells. And they're also Sinkhole, because my opponent showed me they don't have basic lands, and you can trophy lands. Alright, force blue card, force green card. No interaction with lands. Or I could crop rotate for Wasteland. No engine here. I'm gonna keep, but I'm gonna hope that a Life from the Loam shows up in the near future, or I can get to playing Ice-Till. Opponents mulled a 5 and didn't play a land at all. What does that mean? That's weird. Okay, I'll play my forest and pass. What is that? Is it just a bet that at 4 cards, Metalworker never works and you can't mulligan your Metalworker deck to 4? Is this fear of Wasteland? Like they're hiding something good? I don't know what this is, but I'm really happy about it. I'm not going to lie. Okay, there's a Surveil land that also gets me my blue mana. I'm up to the 4 for Ice-Till Explorer. Eventually. I mean, I have the pathway to it now. An Ice-Till plus Crop Rot for Wasteland will block them out. A Hedge Maze. Oh, there's Wasteland. just already. I could dump this. No, I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to... Oh, if I play Uro, I get Wasteland into play, but I lose my blue card for Force. What's better here? I think it's better to have Force of Will available than it is to draw a card here. His opponent's clearly struggling. I'm about to have a powerful engine online, and they're not. As long as they don't do some messed up thing, like Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith, Metalworker, give it haste somehow, reveal 8 cards from your hand, Blightsteel, Trinisphere. All right, it looks like they are just fully eating shit over there, which I'm not going to complain about. It must have been just unwilling to go to 4, or recognizing the deck doesn't really function at 4. Okay, I mill 1. Yeah, I wonder if there's like a surgical extraction or anything in hand to go with this, or if this is just the full nothing burger. They've not conceded, and they're going to discard for the second turn in a row. There must still be a belief that whatever could work. Mild Shifting Woodland, Awaken the Honored Dead. I'll keep that on top. That gives me a different blue card for Force, which means I can start doing Uro stuff. Can I get enough cards in the graveyard right now? Probably Crop Rotate for Fetch Land gets it going, but I don't need to be that dramatic. Okay. Blue, green, colorless, Uro. I'll put in Wasteland. There's an Assassin's Trophy. Mill 1. Uro goes away. Misty Rainforest. Milled Ottawara. Can I get there? Do I have to? Yeah, I have a Trop and an Island in the deck. All right, Trop, Mill. They just said, can I have some in the chat? Yeah. I'm afraid not. The land market belongs to me. Okay. Yeah, I underestimated Icehill Explorer. I could easily all day get to Uro, and it has happened. Force of Vigor, Crop Rotation, 3, 4, 5. And I got rid of the Misty Rainforest. I think I can live without it. I'm almost out of fetchables anyway. Also put in Ghost Quarter for good measure. And we are in there. A big risky non-game here. I assume my opponent's hand is gassed up and crazy if they find the first mana, but I can't imagine losing this game at this point. Metalworker probably taps for a lot right now, though. Lotus Patal. All right, we're going to start seeing some movement, or they're just going to put that into play. Skateboard. Tapping Uro. All right, yeah, they just didn't want to discard any more cards. That's fair. Exploration. That's what I need. More lands in play. Caracas. Just in case Uro would die, he's now safe. Do I actually want Ottawara or Boseiju in play? I guess I could waste them and then pick them back up if that becomes an issue for me. Exploration. Hardcast Rizzler. Another exploration. Sure, I'll play Boseiju. Keep the train running. Another exploration. Yavimaya. Attack for a lot. No more lands to put into play, unfortunately. And opponent is dead on board. My hand is very good. GG's. I'm going to wait and see if they reveal the hand. Do we get to see what you're working with? Nope. Okay. Match is over. All right. Positive record. I'm happy with that. This was a lot of fun to play with. This is a lot of cards that some I've not played with at all, like Awaken the Honored Dead. Some I've not played with in a long time, like Nether Void. Some that I've never seen side by side before, like Malevolent Rumble and Quantum Riddler. The grindy value lands nature of this deck is obviously very strong. The toolbox of crop rotation, the resource, both acquisition with the Uro, the Ice Till, the Life from the Loam, and the resource deploying of the Mox Diamond, the exploration, obviously very strong. And I think the weakness of this deck, and if serious about working on this, Cameron, you have to figure out how to map Force of Will into the deck, or don't play it. I think like 20 is the usual, like, conventional wisdom of how many blue cards you want to support Force of Will. And we can get to 17, but particularly in that show and tell matchup where I didn't want to board in the consigns, but I had to support Force of Will. That's no good. I think Awaken the Honored Dead is brilliant tech. This card was actively good a number of times, and it's blue and it's green for all our various forces. This is a great inclusion. And if you could find more stuff like this, and Uro as well, blue and green, maybe this is just a deck that plays 4 Uros. Try to buff that blue count wherever you can. Maybe some of the tech lands, like, do you need Glacial Chasm and Tabernacle? Those are kind of on each other's corner. Do we need Echoing Deeps in a deck that doesn't have like a Talon Gates or a spicy ETB one of that you'd want to rotate and get a second copy of? There might be a few tech lands that we could live without. Just play slightly fewer lands, like 26 or 27, get a couple of blue cards in there. Depending on the metagame, you could even main deck some consigns because they do also scam out Riddler. It's not like consign is a 0 if your opponent's not playing into it. More Uros would be fine. Simic lands value is an entire supported commander archetype. They're always printing dumbass cards like inspired by Coiling Oracle. I'm sure there's a bunch of more busted Coiling Oracles you could play if you're just looking for something that is a blue card, a blue piece of cardboard that might do something for the deck. I'm sure you could find it with a Scryfall Dive. You could also give up on Force of Will and just play other types of interaction. Like if you just replace all these forces with Disruptor Flutes, you probably improve all of your combo matchups significantly without needing to do all the blue count stuff. Like lands is traditionally not a blue deck, and it's a playable deck into the combo meta. So they've figured it out somehow using only green cards. Maybe explore that space a little bit. This is the only thing I wasn't really happy about. I was really happy every time I got to Force of Will someone out of the sideboard as a surprise. Like I think that got everyone who was affected by it. But I'm not happy with what we had to do with the deck and with the sideboard map to get there. There's room for improvement there one way or another. But as far as grindy ass Sultai lands go, very nice. This was a lot of fun to play. Cameron, thanks for sending it in. And thanks for trying to grow a legacy community in your area. That is, for those who missed at the top, that's the central Pennsylvania area around Harrisburg. Game stores in Lemoyne and Mechanicsburg are running Legacy. Cameron's there trying to keep it firing. If you live in that area, go check it out. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.